Why are the world's most powerful people quietly buying up something that can't be coded, can't be printed, and can't be moved? While everyone was distracted by the promises of digital gold and decentralized finance, billionaires like Bill Gates weren't hoarding Bitcoin. They were accumulating hundreds of thousands of acres of something far older and infinitely more powerful. They were buying the ground beneath our feet. This isn't just an investment strategy. It's the final move in a game that started centuries ago. And the shocking truth is, most of us don't even know we're playing. Before there were ledgers on a blockchain, there was a ledger carved into the earth itself. Every river, every mountain, and every border was a line in the code of human civilization. This was the original hard asset, a finite, unforgeable, and brutally honest measure of power. You couldn't fake an acre of fertile land. You couldn't print a river. Ownership wasn't recorded with cryptography. It was recorded with swords, laws, and bloodlines. This physical ledger was so perfect, so absolute, that every form of money ever invented since has been a desperate attempt to replicate it. Gold, paper currency, and even digital tokens are all just ghosts of this one tangible reality. They were created not to replace land, but to serve it, as a convenient way to trade claims on the one thing that truly mattered. The Roman Empire understood this better than anyone. They didn't build the most dominant force in the ancient world on coins or philosophy. They built it on stolen territory. Roman legions marched, conquered, and returned not with chests of gold, but with deeds to vast estates called latifundia. This wasn't just about getting rich. In Rome, owning land was the very definition of citizenship. It gave you the right to vote, the right to hold office, and the right to be considered fully human. To be landless was to be a non-entity, a ghost in a system that only recognized those who had a physical stake in the empire. It was a perfect system of control, where wealth and existence were one and the same. And when Rome finally crumbled, the currency it left behind wasn't its devalued silver coins. It was the brutal logic of feudalism. But that ancient system of control never really went away. It just learned to hide in plain sight. The Dark Ages get a bad reputation for being a time of ignorance. But financially, they were ruthlessly intelligent. The feudal system was perhaps the most perfect trap ever designed. The king owned the kingdom, the church owned the people's souls, and a handful of lords owned all the land. Everyone else was simply a subscriber to a life they could never own, paying for their existence with labor. You could work a field your entire life, but you would die owning nothing but the debt you owed your landlord. This wasn't a broken economy. It was a flawlessly engineered system of permanent dependency. The scarcity of the land was its most powerful feature, creating a pyramid of power that was almost impossible to escape. This brutal hierarchy was so effective that capitalism didn't dare destroy it. Instead, it simply gave it a modern makeover. And what happened next would change the world forever. The Industrial Revolution arrived, promising freedom and opportunity for all. But it was a promise financed by the oldest asset in the world. The first factories, the first railroads, the first global corporations, they were all built on the back of land mortgages. Banks didn't lend money against brilliant ideas, they lent against deeds and property lines. The feudal lord didn't disappear. He just put on a suit, moved into a bank, and started calling himself a landlord. The serf was given a new name too, tenant. The system of inescapable rent had been rebranded as the property market. It was the same game, just with more complicated rules. But after the financial crash of 2008, the mask finally came off, revealing the terrifying face of modern feudalism. While millions of people lost their homes, a new kind of king was quietly buying up entire neighborhoods. Private equity firms and corporate landlords, like BlackRock, began a silent conquest, acquiring thousands of single-family homes and turning them into rental properties. They weren't just buying houses, they were buying control over entire communities, ensuring that the dream of ownership would be replaced by a lifetime of rent. Just as this new reality was setting in, a powerful illusion emerged, promising a digital escape. Bitcoin, crypto, and the metaverse were hailed as the new frontier, a decentralized world where anyone could own a piece of the future. It was pitched as digital real estate, a chance for the common person to get in on the ground floor of a new reality, free from the control of banks and governments. People poured their life savings into virtual plots of land in worlds like Decentraland, sometimes paying millions for pixels that didn't physically exist. It was a beautiful, seductive dream, but it was built on a lie. When the crypto market crashed, those digital empires evaporated overnight. The virtual landlords were wiped out, holding nothing but worthless code, and this brutal collapse exposed the fundamental flaw in the digital dream. You can escape reality. While everyone was losing fortunes in the metaverse, the value of the physical ground beneath their feet just kept climbing. This reveals the secret cycle that the wealthy have used for centuries. No matter how new or innovative a form of wealth is, whether it's stocks, bonds, or digital tokens, the profits eventually funnel back into the one thing that can't be erased. When tech billionaires cash out their stock options, they don't buy more code. They buy sprawling ranches in Montana. When crypto investors hit the jackpot, they don't reinvest in another token. They buy penthouses in Miami and London. Land is the ultimate exit strategy. It's the safe harbor where all the world's abstract wealth comes to rest. This is why Bill Gates has become America's largest private farmland owner. It's not just an investment in crops, it is a strategic acquisition of the very source code of human survival, food, and the water rights that come with the land. In an age of digital uncertainty, he's securing a monopoly on reality itself. But land's power goes far deeper than just being a safe asset. It's the unspoken collateral that underpins our entire global financial system. The world's economy doesn't run on gold or government promises. It runs on mortgages. When a bank creates money, it's not printing it out of thin air. It's lending against a claim on a piece of physical property. The nearly $300 trillion in global real estate value isn't just a market. It's the foundation upon which all modern credit is built. If the value of that land were to suddenly vanish, the banking system would instantly implode. Central banks and governments know this. Their interest rate policies aren't just about controlling inflation. They are about managing access to land. Raising rates closes the gates to ownership for the average person, while lowering them fuels a bidding war that benefits existing owners. It's not economic policy, it's a modern form of land rationing, designed to keep the hierarchy intact. The game has never really changed, it has only expanded. The feudal lords of the past have been replaced by sovereign wealth funds and massive corporations, who are now buying the planet piece by piece, mortgage by mortgage. The top 1% of humanity now owns nearly half of the world's wealth, and that wealth is anchored in the ownership of physical land and property. We call it a housing market, but that's a dangerously polite term for what is, in reality, a global sorting mechanism. It separates the permanent owners from the temporary renters. In cities like New York and Vancouver, entire skyscrapers stand dark and empty, serving not as homes for people, but as vaults in the sky for offshore capital. Housing is no longer primarily for shelter, it has become the preferred storage unit for the world's billionaire class. What this all means is that the great promise of financial freedom in the digital age was a carefully constructed mirage. You can own $1 million in Bitcoin, but you can't eat it. You can have a stock portfolio worth a fortune, but you can't live inside of it. Ultimately, every form of wealth is just a claim on a future reality. But land is reality itself. The rich don't hoard cash because cash is a depreciating asset. They hoard permanence. And permanence only exists in one place, the ground. Every rent payment, every mortgage installment is a tribute paid for the right to exist on someone else's territory. We've been taught to chase money, but we've forgotten what money is for. In the end, every currency, every coin, every token, and every paper bill is just a temporary pass. The real contract, the one that has governed humanity since the beginning, is the deed. So the next time you hear about a new digital utopia, remember this: history doesn't reward simulations. It rewards whoever owns the stage.